Bring you some more analysis now from the political side. Levy Ndou is joining me now on the Midday View here on eNCA. Mr. Ndou, good afternoon. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Midday View. Just from the politics of it all, finally, the Constitutional Court order for the arrest of the former President Jacob Zuma for contempt of court has been effected. No matter how you look at it, he's now in jail, beginning his 15-month sentence. Politically, it's the first time ever that a former head of state in the Republic of South Africa has been jailed for contempt of court. I mean, what does it look like politically?
Afternoon, Dan. Good afternoon to the viewers at home. Dan, I think there are a few things that we just have to look at. Firstly is the constitution that we have adopted in South Africa that talks about the rule of law and the supremacy of the constitution. And this is the same constitution that the ANC with Jacob Zuma fought for, and they actually also put an emphasis as the ANC that as leaders of the ANC, supporters, and ordinary citizens, everybody has to abide by the Constitution and the rule of law. And I think politically this one sends a message to everybody. And the unfortunate part is that it only came through former President Zuma. But this sends a clear message to everybody that the talk about equality before the law is not just a talk. It is possible that if you are found to be on the other side of the law, whatever position you occupy in society, you will then be subjected to the law and then will be treated equally like any other person. Even though this one is taking place against the former president, the ANC, the party that former President Zuma belongs to, has encouraged everybody to participate in the activities of the State Capture Commission and also to respect the rules that we have in South Africa. And I think also at the same time, painful as it is, the message that comes from his party, the ANC, has been that former President Zuma, please cooperate with the Zondo Commission. And indeed, if everybody else, or including President Zuma, should have actually heeded the call from his party, maybe this situation would have been avoided.
Yeah, and because it raised a number of issues, as you say, this situation. Yes, it's sending the right message that none of us are above the law. Equality before law, the law applies to everybody. I mean, it must have been disturbing for you as well, for any South African, in fact, observing some of the attempts at invoking ethnic chauvinism that we saw playing itself outside in Nkandla. But the ANC itself addressing that the other day through the Deputy Secretary General, Jesse Duarte. Do you think this will quieten things down now? Now that he's behind bars, all those kind of efforts to destabilize, to use this to destabilize the country would now go away?
Well, I think then it will depend on the approach that the ANC has to adopt and the readiness on the part of the other members of the ANC to learn and understand how constitutional democracy functions. For an example, there has been a lot of misinformation that has been going around in the name of trying to protect former President Zuma. And obviously, some of these kind of informations, one shouldn't take them lightly, but I would love to put the blame on the ANC. For an example, to say, the ANC also, for me, has a responsibility to provide sufficient education on basic things so that members of the ANC, as the party that is leading government, should not be found wanting on things that everybody else would think that they are actually obvious. For an example, I wouldn't be expecting members of the ANC to be in conflict with each other based on the current situation, because this matter indeed, it's about the law the law and the law only. It is not about somebody having played a role in order to threat former President Zuma. I don't see it that way. I see a situation where there has been a lack of persuasion or rejecting ideas coming from other people that has actually led into this kind of a situation. But what I've also observed very seriously, Dan, is that it appears as if former President Zuma had accumulated a lot of friends, and some of them outside his own party, the ANC, and he became vulnerable to a lot of ideas, proposals, which led to him taking decisions that are not in his best interest. Mm-hmm. And I think that is why we hear in the court papers saying that former President Zuma seemed not to have been properly advised by some people. And I think it's important at this stage that maybe when you are in a compromised or a difficult situation, it's also very important to check from which side do you take advices, because some people who might think come trying to bring better advices, they might actually be taking you to a very wrong direction.
Okay. We don't have much time left, Levy, but I was just thinking now, as you are speaking there about maybe taking the wrong advice, but having been president of the ANC, and the ANC itself needing to take responsibility in basic type of education about how the law works, because this is all about the law and the law and the law. We are, after all, heading towards municipal elections. I'm just thinking now, for the ANC, are we possibly seeing a turning point here after this matter, the way it's been happening, and with maybe some likely minor electoral setbacks that it might face in KwaZulu-Natal, for example? What are your thoughts, very briefly?
Well, then, local government elections are very dynamic. I read a tweet from one of the ANC members who says the ANC cannot campaign in KwaZulu-Natal. The very same people who are candidates of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal have to campaign for the ANC because they themselves want to occupy positions in municipalities. So they still have to campaign for the ANC. But I think also at the same time, in the ANC manifesto for local government elections, I would expect the ANC to put a paragraph that puts an emphasis on the rule of law and the ANC being at the forefront in the fight against corruption amongst its own ranks. And I think if they do so, that has a potential to bring back support, and indeed they can still be able to run municipalities.
We're going to have to wait and see how they play out, or how this plays itself out. Thank you very much, Mr. Levy Ndou, for your political analysis here on the Midday View on eNCA.